I go trekking a lot in the Himalayas and I meet these fantastic yogis, ancient old masters. I spend a lot of time around and I've never seen any yogi out there do a handstand or do a split. I've been teaching yoga for nearly 20 years and most of what I teach in a modern yoga context is not what they do. And this intrigues me a lot, right? How is it that we are trying to take the practices of ancient yoga, the wisdom of those people, and packaging it into an experience taught in a studio in a city, and there's absolutely no commonality. There's some commonality with breath and certain postures, maybe the sitting posture, but not much else. And I've asked myself this multiple times over the years, and I've spent a lot of time trying to seek out these great people. And it's very beautiful because they're not doing any of these practices, but after 2-3 hours when I'm sitting around an old man, I find suddenly that he's sitting straight and he's not moved. So obviously he has a certain amount of strength and a certain amount of discipline and composure to be still. He doesn't need all these that in the city we might need. Increasingly that's educated me about the purpose and the training in yoga. And when I was younger, I thought that the necessity to be out in nature shouldn't be a huge factor, and you should be able to be comfortable in your own house and so on. But now I know that you have to spend a lot of time in nature. Now, the thing that I notice with these people is that when they are sitting, there's nowhere else for them to go. Now, this is very important to understand that we have fixed, when I say we, I don't, but generally most people have fixed calendars. This is what has to be done tomorrow, day after, for months together, sometimes for years together. For such a person, he has dropped that. He has dropped schedules. And he's got an inner rhythm that's in sync with nature. So when he's sitting and watching a sunset, there is nowhere else he needs to be. That kind of a person is meditative. Now you can take those techniques and you can bring it into your busy life and you can do a little bit of deep, slow breathing, but you have to go someplace else. So you may be calm for a while, and it's very beneficial for most of the people in the world. That's very beneficial. But increasingly, what I'm trying to say is that just those little, what we today very flippantly call mindfulness practices, just that I'm talking a little slower, eating a little slower, I'm mindful of walking, is not enough. You have to sort out your life. If your career is not sorted, if you're doing work that you're really not interested in, if you're struggling to make ends meet, please focus on that. If your relationships are not sorted, if you're seeking love or you're seeking friendship, sort it out. Don't spend your time just breathing slowly. It'll happen. There's time for that. Sort out your life. Meditation will happen naturally. You don't need to do these crazy practices that today in modern yoga we call as yoga. I just like to say this as an example, right? Growing up, it was pizza in India was Domino's and Pizza Hut and Pizza Corner, and we'd spend a lot of time sort of figuring out which is better and so on. The first time as a young adult I went to Italy and I had my first pizza there and I said, bloody hell, this is pizza. Yeah, not that. It's the same thing with yoga, with modern yoga. If you're really interested in the subject, if you're using yoga just to be a bit more relaxed, no problem. But if you're really interested in the subject, make the effort, go to India. It doesn't matter that 2 weeks that you take or 1 month or even a week that you take will be invaluable. To go meet such a person who is calm and who's free will shatter you. Because when you see a person that free and calm, you realize the mess you've made in your own life. This happened to me when I was 21. And I was trekking. I was a bit of a hippie back in the day, and I still am, but I was a real hippie back then. I was trekking the mountains, and I saw this one yogi walk past. And he had nothing at all except, we call a kamandala, that's a metal jug for water and so on. And he had one more, he wears we call it a langot, like an underwear. And the smile on his face just shattered me, because at 21 I realized the mess I'd made in 21 years of living, and I haven't seen that sort of a smile in the cities. So there's obviously something really amiss with our lives, that we're trying to be happy but we can't smile like that. I've made a shift in the last few years, and I spend a lot of time in nature, and I have no schedule because I don't teach anything live. I have the time to do things like this, but it has made a huge difference, because when I was recently in Kodaikanal in the forest, and I realized that in that beauty, you just sit there, you can hear the river, you can see green sort of forests. You don't need to be taught how to meditate. Yeah? You become one. Yeah? Me trying to learn or teach meditation is idiotic, because the me dropping is meditation. The me dropping is yoga. Yes, I'm not saying be lazy, put in a lot of effort, but put effort in the right direction. In Zen we say, don't worship the finger that points you to the moon. Go for the moon. Make a trip to India. Go meet these beautiful people. And don't go to the ashrams. I don't like them myself. The ashram is like a showcase where they are trying to show you the best of Indian spiritual experience, which is you're never going to find it in a showroom. Go around, go trekking. First of all, be in the mountains. Those mountains are beautiful, the Himalayas. If you're lucky, if it's in your destiny, if that is the right word to use, you'll find one person like I saw this person. I just saw him walk past. It is enough to change my life. That is the power of a peaceful, calm person. You don't need to go seeking any techniques, any guru, any teacher. That's not the point I'm making. Just go there, hang around. If you find a person, if you find a yogi just watching the sunset, spend a bit of time. If you're lucky, you can spend a little bit more time. Just see what makes this guy tick or this lady tick, and you'll begin to understand. A lot of what we teach, or rather what is happening in modern yoga, is ridiculous. And it's okay to bell the cat and say, this is ridiculous. But you won't know till you've gone and hung out with people who are not doing yoga once a day or twice a week, whose life is that quest. That is beautiful. That's really beautiful. So make the effort. Like I found out what pizza is and not what American companies were selling me in the name of pizza. I had to go to Italy to see and feel and understand what's pizza. Like that, you need to make the experience. You need to go to India. You need to find yogis. And I don't mean yoga teachers like me. I mean people who've dedicated their life to just this pursuit. Find a person like that, and you'll know the taste of yoga.